Qapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail heroic. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to get your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important things are needed to be.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That's easy. You're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello, world. It's Bird O' Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Star Trek Enterprise Wednesday for January 18th, 2023. Today we're going to watch Season 1, Episode 16, Shuttlepod One. And this episode originally aired February 13th, 2002, the day before Valentine's Day. Doesn't really mean anything, but might put it more in perspective for those of you remembering what you were doing on that day. That's 20 years ago. Wow. And welcome to the panel, Positive Candor, Qapla.
Qapla!
How goes your recovery?
Still not good, obviously.
Hopefully you're feeling better soon, sooner than later.
Yes, and I wonder if Shuttlepod 1 ever had to take a Shuttlepod 2.
You know, the actors haven't heard that. Haven't heard what that and the now obviously the main actors in this episode are the Dominic Keaton, who played Malcolm Reed, and Connor Trenier played Trip Tucker. And they have their own YouTube channel where they do their own YouTube podcast called the Shuttlepod Podcast, named in no small part because of this particular episode, where they are the main characters after they got stuck in a shuttle pod together and feared that they might be the only survivors, and that they might die together in the shuttle pod alone. And I'll be honest, I did not remember this episode all that rosy. I kind of remember this, to me, as one of the more boring episodes of the season. And I know that there are some people who agreed with me. I even had somebody ask me Like, do we really have to watch Shuttlepod One? Can't we just skip the episode? And I considered it. I really did, but I said, no, we're going to watch every episode. If we didn't skip Move Along Home in Deep Space Nine, we're certainly not skipping Shuttlepod One. It would open up it would be a slippery slope. Who's to say which episodes are good and bad? And the whole point is rewatching. Maybe we're rewatching the episode. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it is a good episode. And having watched a number of the Shuttlepod
I mean,
podcasts,
to me, it's okay for what it is.
I mean,
necessarily bad. I mean, you got way worse episodes than this. So.
well, I'll tell you, Dominic Keating, Malcolm Reed, he legitimately thinks it's one of the greatest pieces of work he has ever done. He thinks, it's an award-winning drama. Connor, Trip Tucker guy, I can tell he's a little less enthusiastic, but he goes along with Malcolm in that. Yeah, it's a pretty good episode, and they have guests on, and some of their guests compliment the episode. And Dominic said that the day he came back after the episode aired or whatever, like the entire crew gave a standing ovation. I mean, ridiculously crazy stuff in my mind. The power in my house is cycling. So if I get kicked off, hopefully my generator comes on and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. But hopefully that's not an issue. So I know some people think this is a great episode. Some people think it's a terrible episode, and some people think it's somewhere in the middle. So we'll do a watch, and I'll keep an eye out specifically on if maybe I was too hard on this. 54.5 Access Radio was first on the chat and says she's got an awfully nice bum, which is, of course, one of the quotes from, I believe, Malcolm Reed in this upcoming episode. John Araki was second in the chat, says dose? ? Yes, John, you were second. Mike Richards says greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Pop Culture Curator uses his 18-month Karogan orphan super chat, a year and a half as an orphan in the mines. Says, Qapla, bird of prey. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're doing well, Pop Culture Curator. Who also says, hail to the chat. Dr. Alex says, greetings, bird of prey 5. Hello, chat. Qapla, Dr. Alex. And Positive Candor, you said, it's going to be a long road. It certainly is. John DeMarco says, greetings, everyone.
Have you read those articles about Archer wanting to, or, Bacula wanting to come back?
No. No, I haven't read anything about Scott Bakula.
He's saying it could have easily gone 7 seasons if it hadn't been on basically UPN, if it had been syndicated instead like the other ones,
Oh, it's pretty clear they could have easily gone 7 seasons even if they'd been on UPN. I mean, they weren't the ratings weren't all that bad. The reason to pull it clearly had more to do with back office politics than ratings. I mean, I just looking back dispassionately at the numbers, for the cost of the show, they should have been able to turn a profit. It shouldn't have been losing them money. All the actors were signed in for 7 years, so nobody was they couldn't raise their pay in the middle, so there's no reason they should have been losing money. Something else was behind their canceling. And again, watching the
Well,
podcast.
UPN itself was gone just one season after this ended. So
Yeah, I mean, they were
you
having,
know, and
they
then
must have been having
combined to the CW
network issues.
with Warner Brothers, obviously. But yeah, to me, it was the network. UPN itself, if it hadn't been on UPN, yeah, I think I could have gotten 7 seasons.
Yeah,
I think just being on UPN and then UPN basically ending just one more season after this had left, and then forming into the CW after that.
well, this particular episode, I mean, had an issue. It was one of the lowest watched episodes of the season, but it was on opposite the Olympics, so they kind of expected it to not do so well. But other people who, even if they got UPN, UPN would often skip the episode to show a baseball game or, whatever they had, a local, whatever they had. Even if you had UPN, you didn't always watch. They couldn't guarantee that they would even show the show. So it's kind of crappy situation. John DeMarco says greetings to everyone. Greetings, John. I'll put the link and I'll pin the message if anybody would like to join the panel and or the screening room. Both links are now at the top pinned comment. If you're watching new here, you can watch this episode with us if we're live, and only if we're live in the Birdo Prey 5 screening room. Otherwise, if you're watching this on a rerun, you have to have your own copy of the episode, either on DVD or Blu-ray, or you can stream it from Paramount Plus or outside the United States, probably on Netflix. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening, Yvette. Hakeem says, Qapla, everyone. Qapla. Hakeem. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Darth Maul says, Paul has a nice bum. Indeed. John DeMarco says, it will be a good chance for Bird to take a nap. I'm going to try real hard. Not tonight. Resolute Germ says, this is one of the better episodes of the season. Darth Maul says, it's the best for the actors, but in the scheme of Trek, it throttles STD. Well, STD doesn't count as Trek for all practical purposes. And Qapla, Mr. Londell.
What's up?
We're just going through some comments here.
I've noticed.
Resolute Germ says, top 10 episode of the series. Darth Maul says, oh my God, the power goes off. The Krogan orphans will escape. No. We have backup systems for that.
He's got batteries for the electric fence, so.
Yeah, it's hard to escape the mines without the elevators working. Captain Phantom Nerd says, hello, Captain. Darth Maul says, I think all the talks of the old cast coming back is because of highly likely Kurtzman and company are out the door. We'll see. No. I would love that, but I doubt it.
No, Kurtzman is still blowing Section 31 smoke up somebody's behind.
Dominic Keating mentioned in one of the, sorry, Sassy, are you okay? Sassy tripped. Dominic Keating or Connor, one of them mentioned that I think Dominic did, that the Section 31 show, he claims has been turned into a movie. And it's going to be a Section 31 movie instead of a series. I don't know if that's true or not. That's from his mouth.
Probably directed by J.J. Abrams.
We'll see. I would, if a year from now we do find out that Section 31 is coming out as a movie, then he knew what he was talking about. If there is no Section 31 or there's a series and not a movie, then he clearly has no idea what he's talking about.
No, none of them know what they're talking about. They do this just to keep you. They think that they're keeping people, focused and tuning in. It's like, you see the kid on the horse with the stick, and there's a carrot on the end of it, and he holds it out, and the horse keeps moving toward the carrot. That's what they're doing. Okay.
Well,
and I'm just waiting for somebody in the executive boardroom to say, BS, get him in here, he's fired.
Resolute Germ says the network was a major issue. UPN was in the middle of collapsing at the time. Yeah. Dodmall says Paramount/CW wanted to go after the teenagers. That's why they canceled. We call it today the CW show trope. And, they did mention, again, in the podcast, about how they really were going after the teenagers. And it's been brought up before, but how UPN wanted a boy band. They wanted to put a boy band in the mess hall.
I've heard
to try to
too.
pick up the teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to explain why that wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for the show.
Well, see, a lot of shows at that time were doing that. They do a big hype the week up to that episode, and then you tune in, and the last 2 minutes of the show, while the credits are rolling, you hear the first half minute of whatever that hit song is.
Right.
Okay. They did that. Fox was really bad about doing that with their shows. In fact, so.
Well, if it would have kept the show going, I'm starting to think maybe it wouldn't have been the worst idea.
Backstreet Boys on the Enterprise.
Well, they didn't have to be on the Enterprise. It could have been a holographic transmission or something. I don't know. Something to entertain the troops. Like a USO show or something. I don't know. If it would have saved the series,
yeah.
Who knows?
No. We're Trek fans. We should have our standards, okay?
Darth Maul says the Section 31 show and Star Trek 4 are suffering from battered wife syndrome. Keely Chow says, hey, everybody, what's going on? Qapla Keely. And Keely says the WB and UPN are rolling in their graves because of the CW. Resolute says, I'd be very surprised Paramount can't generate capital to do anything at the moment. John DeMarco says, I can tell how excited we are to start the episode. I know. We are. I am kind of excited. We're going to go to the screening room now. We'll count down, and we'll actually begin watching Shuttlepod One. I was giving a little time in case maybe Dominic Keating or Connor Trenier actually came over to watch. I did tweet it to them. Granted, I only tweeted it to them 5 minutes before we went live, but maybe they're here. Maybe they're here watching. If either of you guys are out there, hats off to you. This your best work, perhaps.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You know.
I will give it rewatch this with an open mind. But regardless, no matter how bad I might not like it, trust me, I know it is still far and above better than anything with the name Star Trek that's come out since 2009. The Traveler, formerly known as Wesley Crusher, says, greetings, birds, salty turds, and nerds. Qapla, Traveler. And Darth Maul says, maybe we are here. Maybe. It's been a long road, getting from there to here. But let's head to the screening room. We will count down. And if you can't watch in the screening room, then watching here on YouTube, you'll get a screenshot every 10 seconds so you know whereabouts it is. The Traveler says, does it show my gold 5? It does. It does show your gold 5. The picture you put in is of a red 5, but that's always the red 5. The gold 5 is next to your name. Yes, it's there. It is there. You did not lose your position as a longtime channel member. Thank you, the Traveler. Okay, so I'm going to count down, and then I'm going to hit start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's Shuttlepod One. This is the asteroid field. 17 planetesimals. The fuck is a planetesimal?
It's a planet about the size of the moon. There are a couple in our asteroid belt.
I thought those were Plutoids. So Malcolm's going to read a copy of Ulysses. And Trip is like, he'd rather realign every circuit than. So apparently the British still have their own curriculum. The North Americans are basically just apes reading comic books.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Cochran had been a European. The Vulcans would have been far less to help them. Tucker is like, I don't know of any Europeans building a warp engine. Uh-oh. Commander, you better come take a look. And it's a whole bunch of debris on the surface of an asteroid. Sensors aren't working, of course, but they can get really close to. Oh no, it's the 01. The Traveler says reading comic books made a lot of money for some people that now make movies. Been a long time.
Frankly, this song is what killed this series. Let's just be totally honest.
It certainly didn't help.
Nobody likes this song.
It certainly didn't help. But the actors, for the most part, said they didn't mind the song. And Brandon Braga, he didn't seem to mind it either. I think that's nobody's taken to this day. Nobody's taken responsibility.
No, do you blame them?
Well, the problem is
Huh.
their goal was to distance
Update
themselves from Star Trek, and that was the problem.
Uh-huh.
That was the problem, that they were trying to distance themselves from Star. Why would you make a Star Trek series and then distance yourself from the fact that it's Star Trek? It doesn't work as anything else.
Yeah. I guess they thought, the Star Trek and Star Wars, they're interchangeable,
Don DeMarco says, regardless of the song's merits on its own, it's a break with Trek tradition that symbolizes a lot of early Enterprise, in his opinion. I agree. It is a break with Trek tradition, and I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
The Travelers, says Bird, they were trying to distance themselves from Star. What they wanted to be like Sequest? I don't know what they wanted to be like, but clearly it was the wrong decision. Oh, and now we see the Enterprise is fine. It just had some of the panels ripped off. So that's why the NX is down there. You would think the chief engineer would recognize the fact that main engineering and the rest of the ship isn't crashed up on that asteroid.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how.
Ten days of breathable air. That's about 8 days more than I would have expected. You can be a guess without a sextant. You don't think that maybe somewhere in the wreckage would be extra oxygen or something to help you on your way?
A dead body floating around, you know.
John DeMarco says, a guest trip? That's extraordinary. From Star Trek 4. Otter Stomp says, geez, I really don't like this episode at all. Give it time.
Yeah. Uh,
Resolute Germ. He's being extraordinarily British about the issue. He is extraordinarily British. Wait, why would it be on the shuttle pod? Because the captain was planning on giving it to someone? Is that just like hydrated? Like in Back to the Future? The multi-gun man! Qapla multi-gun man! Having the Chilean sea bass. Of course he is. It's going well enough, Multi-Gun Man. How are you doing? Resolute Germ says they should leave the bourbon for whoever finds the bodies.
Yeah.
Dr. Alex says the captain is a secret drinker. He hides it on the shuttle. Good, Multi-Gun Man. Glad to hear you're doing well. The reality is, if you're sleeping, you're probably using less oxygen
Yeah, you
than
are.
if you're awake. So you're extending your time. Oh. John Dorr says it's a great way of wasting oxygen with a bunch of bickering. Oh, this is one of the few dream sequences.
Uh-huh.
No.
Oh, hell.
He said as an actor, he really didn't like the word. He didn't really like the name Malcolm.
Shikabow wow.
Uh, Resolute Germs is the best thing you can do for future archaeology is bury yourself with a well-preserved bottle of top shelf booze. Darren Wagner, The Untold Appeal of the Ice Queen. They just got hit. There's a hull breach. Use your ears, find the hole. The hole is too small. Nitrogen. So,
Yeah.
one of the things they mentioned in the podcast is that as this gets colder and colder, you stick your finger in the hole. As it gets colder in this episode, the director was really a big fan of filming it in real. They didn't want to add effects later on, so they actually covered the entire insides with dry ice and had 6 air conditioning units going at full blast to make it as cold as possible. And they would only talk for like 30 seconds at a time and then turn the AC back on so they could see their breath. Darren says, this episode was so bad, I quit Enterprise for the rest of the season after watching it. I know, Darren, but again, Dominic Keating, Malcolm Reed, and Connor Trenier, they literally think this is the best episode they ever did. The multi-gunman says, Bird of Prey, that would never have happened if they were flying space jeeps.
True, Darren, especially since he took a tour of a sub.
Aaron Wagner says the badness of this episode has nothing to do with the actors. The failure of the episode lay squarely at the feet of Brannon Braga the writer. I
Actually,
don't think
that's
it
not what
grows.
happens.
Honestly, I don't think it grows that much.
No, no, that's not what happens. You your skin is drying out and it's shrinking, and it looks like your hair and nails are growing.
Mm. Aaron says LDG couldn't have wrote a worse episode. To which LDG says any episode that pisses off Darren is worth a watch. Num 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 num. Mm. This is definitely at the time where they were looking to have the breath come out. Darren says one of the last appearances of the NX-01 ball caps. That's unfortunate. Resolute Germ says the only thing I can't buy in this episode is Reed is that good with women. Darren Wagner says, watch in stunning disbelief as the chief engineer lights a candle in an enclosed environment with limited oxygen for mood. Yeah, I
That was kind of stupid.
yeah, that's pretty bad. Watching the oxygen level go lower and lower. So yeah, they didn't have to act hard. They really were cold. At least they bring up the issue. They're fake. Darren says, children and small animals hate Brandon Braga. That's not nice, Darren. So the Dortons, whatever that is the name of the art director. Welcome on your left. And okay.
It's Life with Matthew.
Oh, that's Life with Matthew.
Yes. Did you not? Figured since he doesn't actually make content for us anymore, I would have to bring him dragging, kicking, and screaming into a stream.
Got an awfully nice bum. The best line of the episode. The Sub Commander T'Pol's bum. I'm sure this is your favorite part, Rock Solid.
Actually, T'Pol's got a decent rack as well.
That's true, too. There's a radio signal.
There's a couple bums for you. He wants a happy ending?
He does. He said he wants a happy ending. It's Hoshi.
I'll take a happy ending from Yoshi.
I think they're about to give each other a happy ending. Days.
They're dead, Jim.
Oh boy.
If one of you die, the other one will have twice as much oxygen. Yes, it's time to flip a coin, guys.
How much energy and air will he expand to be able to get that extra time?
They still have trains. Fly, Admiral Teague. Live long and prosper.
I'd like to see her lips myself.
No, actually, we kill LDG first and push his ass out an airlock.
He's got a point. Oh, shit. Oh, damn.
Stun both yourselves. You'll use less oxygen.
Friends don't let friends watch Discovery. Oh, he loves him. They both just needed to chill out for a while. Is this thing on? These are the jokes, people.
I hear you, Rox. You assumed you were dead.
You know what happens when you assume?
You didn't shave very well.
It's going to blow in your ear.
He really is alive. It's not a dream.
Just don't call me late for dinner. Is that the DS9 theme?
I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we made it through the train wreck. All right.
after rewatching Shuttlepod One.
Yes.
I have to say, I'm pretty sure Dominic Keating is just crazy. This is. If you honestly look at this and think this is your best work you've done as an actor, I think I feel bad for you.
Okay, now we need to pull up his IMDb.
Well, I mean, there are definitely better Enterprise episodes, if nothing else.
Yeah,
That's not what he was saying, though.
The whole Zindi arc. I mean, come on, they had their moments.
Well, no, Dominic Keaton got up and said that this episode was his finest time as an actor, as a professional actor. This was it. This was his peak.
See, you can't confuse though his take on his performance versus the episode as a whole, though. So, having just him and Connor Trinier as the only two on the set for 90% of the episode, that puts a lot of. You don't have anyone else that can do any heavy lifting, so it's like a one-man stage show, if that makes sense.
Right, with two guys
versus two girls in one cup.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, next week is fusion, where they are near the Arachnid Nebula. Can't be called the Arachnid Nebula, is it? Anyway, the Vulcan vessel needs repair. There's Vulcans without logic.
Oh,
It was that episode. Yeah.
That was decent. That was a decent episode because we learned something about one of the major species in the Federation.
Yeah.
So we learned.
It's a little weird that they were doing an AIDS episode, kind of.
No, but that comes later.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the seeds are set, though.
Yeah, it's later when T'Pol finds out she's got that disease from a mind meld, and they trace it back to this nut job.
True. Yvette says crappy episode. Wait. First, Yvette said thank you, Bird. Resolute says this episode made me not hate Reed. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it did help Reed's character grow. Resolute Germs says the Zindi arc is trash, and you all know it.
No, it's not.
What?
Resolute. I mean, come on now, Resolute. You're quickly turning into one of those guys that you just find something to be wrong with something, regardless. That's what you're turning out to be.
John DeMar says, even if you just look at Enterprise, I think Reed was better in Minefield, for example. I think that's true.
See, but here's the thing about Trip and Reed. If you think back, they did a couple of episodes where they were like on shore leave, and you had Trip and Reed together, and their arc in that episode was kind of comical.
Yeah,
they got robbed, and they took the clothes and all that kind of stuff. I think works better. It worked better with those two characters.
Yeah, the Ryza episode.
Yeah, because Trip is like, yeah, we kick back, have some fun, and Reed is just so damn straight laced, and Trip can talk Reed into doing stupid shit on shore leave, So that's why they end up naked in jail, stuff like that.
Johnny Margo says, it's the Proto-Cybok episode. Darren says, Brandon Braga strikes again. First Threshold, then Shuttlepod One. And Qapla Orville Nation. Hey, PJ. Great Latchcomb yesterday, PJ.
Yeah.
Resolute Germ says well, I think it's an AIDS episode, but I guess it's that at first. Later on, it becomes an AIDS thing.
That's because they needed Resolute. They needed one more season to fix things. Okay.
Speaking of things that, in season 5, we were supposedly going to get the extra addition to the ship, the engineering hull. But one of the other things I heard on the podcast was coming in season 5, they were returning to the mirror universe. They were going to do another mirror universe with Hoshi as Empress, and Travis was her second in command, / possible love interest.
Yeah.
that was something they were planning on doing, but didn't.
Now,
Yeah, never.
hopefully, I'm beginning to see a pattern with a lot of the Trek shows. I'm hoping they don't use that mirror universe too much. They're almost at the point where they're using it too much, in my opinion.
Well,
And
I mean,
that's,
Discovery certainly overused it.
I mean, it was done poorly. I don't care what anybody says. People talk about how those are the best episodes from STD. No, they weren't. There were no good episodes in at least season one, which is all I saw of STD. But that's me.
Resolute Germ says, deny it all you want, but the Xindi arc was half-assed and made zero sense as part of a trek of Star Trek. Well, the problem was that we'd never heard of the Xindi before, and we never hear from them again, of course. So in that respect, I didn't like that they had to create an unknown species or create a whole unknown section of the galaxy that was never talked about before and never talked about later. Why wasn't there Xindi in TNG or DS9 or Voyager? That makes no sense.
But they were supposed to fix that in like the next season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the temporal Cold War,
Yeah.
if the Xindi end up being erased from time or something, then I guess they could have lived with it. But the way it ended, yeah, it's a continuity problem. I get it.
Okay, well, I'll agree with that, Darren. DS didn't do a good mirror, but okay, personally, I would have left mirror in TOS. It made more sense. It makes more sense in the TOS era than what they're trying to do now. With just to say, okay, there's a mirror trip and he's bad. Okay.
Captain Fan of Nerds says the Xindi arc is overrated. I would tend to agree. I mean, going back at Enterprise, the Xindi arc was and they knew it. It was their answer to 9/11. Because I think they were, remember, 9/11 happened like 3 weeks before the show aired. They were only filming their third or fourth episode when 9/11 happened in real life, in real time. And so the entire first season had pretty much already been written pre 9/11. And the second season too was clearly not, was exploration. The whole point of Enterprise was to return to that series, that exploration that they had in TOS. But clearly it wasn't, the audience wasn't caring for it as much, or at least they thought the audience wasn't caring for it as much. So they wanted to answer the war call that, the entire country seemed to be on.
Yeah.
So that's what they gave us, was our terror attack, Earth's 9/11. And honestly, I didn't like it. I at the time I did, but looking back, I think it's kind of shitty.
So this is turning out to be the only Trek series that's not classic in the sense that it withstands the test of time.
Well, I think other than Discovery and New Trek.
Stop with New Trek.
Okay.
There's no such thing as
so
New
fine.
Trek.
If we don't count New Trek, then Enterprise is the least
classic.
Timeless, the least timeless.
Okay.
But I think it's still okay. I don't think it's terrible. It's just not great. I think DS9 and TOS and even TNG and Voyager are more timeless
Yeah.
than Enterprise. That said, I would probably watch Enterprise over Voyager most of the time. At least for now. Who knows what another 10 or 20 years would bring. I'll tell you, Voyager's improved as well over time. I mean, there was a time when
Yeah.
I
Well,
wouldn't watch Voyager at all.
I never really had issues with Voyager.
Even the award-winning Threshold episode.
Especially the award-winning Threshold.
I never really had issues with Voyager. I mean, you guys that you want to be cork sniffing purists are the ones that complained about Voyager.
I mean, the Kazon were a useless alien.
Yeah,
baddie,
Yeah, the
basically.
Kazon were a weak part of Voyager. The Kazon and Kess were
yeah,
some of the weakest parts of Voyager.
yeah. A lot more Herodian episodes would have been better too.
You just gotta love the episode with the Herodians and Klingons fighting Nazis in World War II. I mean, that was just great.
No, I like the
and it
one
was
where
all on
the one where
holodeck.
the one where they overclocked the holodeck, and the the holograms were setting up ambushes for the Herodian. I like that one better.
Yeah. Darren says, someone once said, "In a Mirror Darkly" was Trek born, as it had the Defiant and Gorn and Tholians in it. Except for the fact that it wasn't really the Gorn. It was fake
It was
Gorn.
the Gorn.
It was fake Gorn.
It was a baby Godzilla, okay?
Yeah, real Gorn are supposed to be slow. PDB, Qapla PDB, says, I'll be honest, Shuttlepod One is my favorite episode of Star Trek. It's the only episode where it genuinely feels like they are in space and where the threat they face is just being in space itself. Qapla PDB, and I assume that you are Dominic Keaton. No, I'm kidding. I get it. There aren't a lot of Trek episodes where just being in space is the danger. I guess because they're supposed to be so far advanced that a hull breach isn't supposed to be scary. You're not supposed to die because of a hull breach. You're supposed to have a force field or something that fixes that immediately. I would say the DS9 episode where Quark and Odo have to climb up a mountain is similar to this in that the environment is what, cold and thin air.
Well, the Gorn was slow because it was a guy in a suit. That's why.
Yeah, but still, for whatever reason, why the Gorn was slow, it's now, it was part of Trek canon that the Gorn was slow, whereas, because if the Gorn was fast, Kirk would be dead.
Yeah.
Kirk would be dead. If the Gorn was as fast
it was
as
slow, but stronger than him.
Right. So, okay, that gives him a chance. If the Gorn was like what we saw in Enterprise, Kirk would have been killed. There was no survival.
I mean, Discovery retconned the Gorn to be basically.
But Enterprise came decade before Discovery.
John DeMarco brings up a good point here. Could it not be the fact that the Mirror Universe Gorn could be faster than the Prime Universe Gorn?
No.
Sure.
Then that would ruin the Prime. That would ruin the Mirror Universe.
That kind of makes sense because we're looking at opposites.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you might be just a nobody in the mirror universe versus.
Well, then mirror universe
could be
Klingons would be weak and pitiful and short. No, I mean, the whole mirror universe, the physical attributes of the species have to be the same for the mirror universe to make sense.
But
I don't
look
know.
look what they did.
Spock had a-
Look what they
Spock
did
had a
with
beard.
T'Pol.
Spock
Okay,
had a beard in the mirror universe. How do you explain that?
Spock, what?
Had a
Had a
beard
goatee.
in the mirror
But
universe.
why can't he have a beard? There's no reason
Yeah.
Vulcans can't have beards.
Okay.
Yeah. But look what they did with
Just
T'Pol in the mirror universe.
There are differences. There are differences.
What did they do with T'Pol?
Picard,
Yeah, remember it was
probably was
Vulcan
not
females that
Picard was
went
probably
through
not bald
Qapla.
in the mirror universe for all we know, because they never did a mirror universe episode on TNG.
Oh my God. Darren figured the reason why TOS Gorn was slow was because he was a reptile and because it was cold out. Yeah, I mean, I just don't buy that. PDB says Qapla now granted his very strict adaptation of 2 men in a lifeboat,
That is
but
the
they
only
do hit
episode-
that note, from patching a hole to running out of food and air in this case. They make it work really well with Enterprise's post-NASA aesthetics. That's fair point. Fair point.
I mean,
I'm
that is
sorry.
the only episode without the "It's a Long Road" interlude to it.
Yeah, in a mirror darkly.
It just has a bunch of bombing and stuff like that instead going on.
A resolute term says maybe the Gorn fighting Kirk was a fat old man of his species. That's more believable. That was just one particular Gorn.
What if he just wasn't motivated that day? He didn't want to try his best. He's like, hey, these guys just gave me an extra shift that I didn't really want, so to hell with it. I'm going to just slack off. How about that? Maybe he was disgruntled.
A disgruntled
And by the
Gorn.
way, a Kurogan complaining that somebody else is a little slow. Yeah,
Maybe
really
the
not
Gorn-
appropriate there.
Maybe the Gorn got me too'd by Kirk.
There you go.
Darren says the mirror Gorn was warmed up by the Defiance engine room. That was stated in the episode. I'll have to go back to that. PDB says people dunk on Archer for genocide by withholding a cure while Kirk did the exact same thing in wink of an eye. I thought humanity's benevolence was the biggest difference in the mirror universe. Well, the biggest difference for Earth. Captain MKG says, cheers, Captain Qapla. LDG says, just bad acting. I don't know. Bad acting who? Kirk?
He's just trying to chime in. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. It's LDG. Come on.
PDB says the mirror universe is fun in small doses. And LDG is saying the Gorn didn't act badly. It's not bad acting from the Gorn. In TOS, the Gorn acted as well as he possibly could.
Yeah.
In that suit. And in Enterprise, there wasn't an actor. It was just, I believe it was just CG. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't see where acting falls in for either of them. Definitely the costume got in the way. I mean, the best way to look at, what the Gorn could have looked like if they wanted to keep the Gorn is that TV commercial. Excuse me. The TV commercial Kirk did with the Gorn, I don't know, 10 years ago. they had a Gorn guy in a costume, and he fights someone in a TV commercial. I forget what it was for, but it's out there. Kirk fights Gorn
And it
TV
says
commercial.
Bobby Clark was the guy in the Gorn suit. Okay. Got that?
I will forget it. So I mean, no.
Bobby Clark.
Okay, but
You
I
just said
don't care.
Don't forget it. So can you not follow direct? Well, you're
No,
Well,
never mind.
Obviously, that should be a jet nerdy question then, if you're going to forget it.
Yeah.
No, because he'll cheat and know it anyways. So
then I will remember it. Then I'll be accused of cheating because I didn't forget it. PDB says that in the digital remaster of Arena, they gave the Gorn a blinking eyelid. I don't remember that.
there's a lot you don't remember though, so that's not a fair
That's true.
excuse.
It's a fair point. And PDB says you think the Metrons and the Q get together and laugh at the younger races over a pint. No. I read an article in was it Screen Rant that now in some comic book Cisco is back, but Cisco's back as a prophet, and the prophets are investigating some species killing the Q, and now the prophets are equal power to the Q. So Cisco and Q re-meet after, punching his face last time. And so Cisco is equally powered to Q now in the comic book, which means nothing. John DeMarco puts in the link to the Gorn commercial. Thank you, John. I do suggest people watch that link. A couple of moments will be finished here. So before we go, Positive Candor, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think all this Gorn talk has become too gorny for me to continue.
Understood. Too gorny. Mr. Lundell, what you got going on?
Oh, remember now, Saturday.
Cinema Saturday.
Cinema Saturday is going to be Invasion of the Body Snatchers. 3 p.m. Central Time.
The original Saturday. With
of course, the original.
Donald Sutherland, the original.
No,
with him?
The original with Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, so not
the Speaker of the House?
No, Kevin McCarthy, the freaking actor.
Speaker of the House.
I mean, the one with Donald Sutherland is good too. Don't forget.
The original one is the one that scared Mama Prey.
Yeah,
because her brother used to make her watch it somehow.
It's a good episode. It's a good. It's the best. It's the best.
Yes,
episode.
On Saturday. Mama Prey might turn up.
Oh, that'll be great.
Rock Solid, what are you up to?
About 224 pounds.
What are you doing on YouTube? Anything of interest?
Well, right now I'm on a panel with Berto Prey 5, Positive Candor, and Mr. Londell. This is why I don't get invited places. Let's see. Tomorrow, shorts video on, if anyone remembers the Zoltar machine from Big, there's actually a scale version of it out or coming out, and it's actually really cool. So we'll have that out tomorrow sometime. Last night,
grant wishes like in Big.
You can. It comes with little tokens that you can put in, and it has 55 fortunes that it'll spit out. It's actually really damn cool. $100, 1/6 scale of the actual one, has working sound effects and everything. So yeah. Let's see. Last night's short went out late, but it was a breakdown of some of the things that older fans may have caught or missed on the season 3 teaser trailer for The Mandalorian.
Very cool.
I know that Salacious Crumb and Chopper were in the trailer for.
It wasn't Chopper. It was R5D4.
Well,
It was
I hate
Red
the new
from
ship.
the Sandcrawler. What? You
I
hate the new
I
ship?
hate the new ship.
It's a
Okay,
classic
in the
Naboo
new
N1
ship,
starfighter.
He's stuck in one position. In his old ship, he used to be able to walk around the ship. This is, you just got to sit down. You're really supposed to sit down in one place and not move for what? Hours, days at a time? I assume it takes to travel places.
It's a starfighter. That's what it was designed to do.
I don't like it. Okay, he should have found a bigger ship. Instead of a starfighter,
Would you like some
a
cheese with your
starship.
wine?
I'm just saying, if we're going to go to Mandalorian, I was, oh, it's so great, so great, so great. Well, I don't think so.
Did I happen to say it was great, or happen to say that I pointed out things that people may or may not have noticed about it? I didn't take a take one way or the other.
No, but I saw the general consensus. And the general consensus is people are happy because you've got Baby Yoda and you've got, which I know
He has a name.
Grogu.
His name is Grogu.
I know his
Use
name
it.
is Grogu. But
learn it, use it, love it, embrace it.
Okay.
It's what his name is.
PDB says Darmok owes a lot to Arena, and glad I could tune in at the tail end. And I'm glad you could too, PDB. Hope to see you again. Resolute says, from a guy sitting in a bed for how many years? Yes, but I don't do this by choice. And Admiral Teague agrees the new ship is not suited for Mando's life or job. Dan Wagner says, well, I like the Naboo fighter. I prefer the original Razor Crest.
But there is a story reason why he doesn't go back to something like the Razor Crest, because when he had the Razor Crest, he was simply a bounty hunter, getting puck after puck after puck. The fact that he has a ship that it only has one place for him to sit changes his focus, changes the look and outlook of the character and the story. It's actually a plot device. But then again, you like TOS and bad Star Trek, so there's that.
You don't like TOS, which is absolute proof you have no business commentating on sci-fi.
Boom.
I'm sorry, TOS is terrible. The TV
not.
shows are unwatchable.
No,
I just have 2 words for you: Spock's brain.
Still better.
One bad episode.
Still better than 9/10 of what's on TV today.
Yeah.
Tim Chris says it was the only ship available for him at the time. Well, then get another ship. He's had time. He's had a year.
You don't know that it's been a year. You don't know that they're not picking up right off from when he picked up Grogu after Luke.
Well, then fine, but make time to get a new ship. Anyway, ships are expensive. Steal one. Anyway, thank you all for coming and hanging out for Enterprise Shuttlepod One rewatch. Next week, Fusion episode, season 1, episode 17 on Star Trek Enterprise Wednesdays. Qapla All, panel out.